Today's review is In the Heat of the Night. This is the 1967 classic starring Sidney Poitier and Rod Steiger. I just recently saw this for the first time when this Blu-ray came out a couple, I think 2 months ago or so this came out. So I don't really have a reference frame for, say, how good the Blu-ray transfer is, but the movie looks great for a movie from the 60s. This looks very, very well restored, though I have no comparison to make. But basically, I mean, it is a mystery movie, which I thought was pretty interesting. Apparently, this is the only mystery, to be any kind of movie to be categorized as a mystery, to win Best Picture. Like even like something like Silence of the Lambs or whatever. Not quite a mystery, more of a thriller. But this is like a good old-fashioned mystery. There's all the suspects in this small town in Mississippi, and kind of the false leads and the grand reveal at the end when they find out who's doing what and why. And I thought that was really good. I thought it was kind of a good armchair detective kind of movie. You're like, when that guy, I think that's a false lead. What about this girl? She's kind of suspicious, So I think that's really good. Obviously, what makes this movie elevates to higher levels is the performances by Poitier and by Steiger. Steiger won Best Actor for this movie. Sidney Poitier, he wasn't even nominated, which is crazy to me. Crazy. Because I think he's so good, and it is kind of an over-the-top melodramatic movie. Like there's that one great scene where Sidney Poitier is like, "I'm so close, I can almost do it," clenched fists. I love it. But yeah, whatever. It works in its own way, and kind of obviously, given the time frame of the movie, you could think today that this is a period piece, but in actuality, this movie was a contemporary movie about contemporary issues. So it isn't just obviously it isn't just, of course, about the mystery itself of the movie and who killed this guy, why are they doing this, and etc. Which is very good as a cop detective investigation procedural movie in its own way, but it is about the racial climate, is specifically in the 60s of this movie, where this horrible racist town can, be a melting pot for, danger at every turn for Sidney Poitier's character. Mr. Tibbs, who is a detective, specifically a forensic detective who deals with murder investigations, and he just so happens to be taken in one night by a racist cop. Little does he know that this person is going to help substantially with the case. And it's kind of Rod Steiger and Poitier's kind of chemistry that works and makes the movie kind of elevate to a higher level. Like it's not not too much, not too preachy, I guess, but like there are the scenes where they do have to kind of address the issue that we know very well that Steiger's character is racist, and in a similar kind of way, even Poitier's character is racist. He wants nothing to do with this whole city. He only goes there because he visits his mother, but it's their reluctant partnership that really kind of makes the movie sizzle, and kind of what is funny about the movie is that well, not funny, but just what is kind of interesting is that how this black person who has to watch his ass for these fucking pieces of shit who like want to bang him over the head with a crowbar, how he's smarter than anybody there, he's more resourceful than anybody there, and they are blind to that because of racism, basically. So that's interesting to me. And there's that one great scene where he, slaps the guy across the face. And that was apparently the first time in any movie where you saw that, where you saw a black man hitting a white man. Apparently. I mean, that's the story. I watched the DVD special features, and they kind of shared these little anecdotes, which that sounds kind of true. But it is, well, it was kind of like a progressive movie in that sense, where it could, make, again, these 1960s still pretty, racist times. Not that, there's no racism today, but, there was still segregation, and there was still, people, again, in the South who, would want to bring harm to a person just because of the color of their skin, and it would be almost acceptable to do so, which is ridiculous. But this movie, while it does seem like it is kind of a period piece, like, you know, you can watch like The Butler and you're like, wow, times were crazy back then. This movie was made during those times. It was a contemporary movie, which is insane. Even when one thing they mention in the special features of the movie is they didn't film the movie in Mississippi because, you know, Sidney Poitier was like, no. But they did film one scene, and apparently he slept. Well, first of all, they had to go all around the location to find a hotel that would accept both black and white. That would be, you know, what's the word? Integrated for races. And apparently he'd always sleep with a gun under his pillow every night because, you know, someone's coming in here, I'm going to shoot him, basically. So because of that kind of, you know, black guy, white guy, you know, let's solve a mystery. It does kind of work in this very good mystery. I mean, it is very loosely based on a novel. I think it is called In the Heat of the Night. But because they use that as the backdrop, everything that's good about this movie is based solely through the characters themselves. So you don't really see like this grand lesson that we have to learn about racism. We can feel it very, very kind of in like a microcosm of these two characters and kind of their mutual respect that grows for each other, because there is racism on both sides of things, which, you know, is interesting. But I mean, just, you know, it's, I don't want to go on like a whole, you know, this is a racially progressive movie, this really means a lot, but it does. I mean, you know, I don't want to downplay that aspect of the movie, but, you know, technical aspects, the movie's shot perfectly. Norman Jewison, obviously a great director, one of the best, and a Canadian. A screenplay top notch. Acting is perfect, though again it does kind of go over the top. Like, I can so close, I can taste it. I love that scene. And yeah, I mean, it's just a very, you know, interesting and engrossing movie. Like, kind of basically what the movie does, it lures you in with the mystery, like, because you are interested and you want to know kind of what's happening. But what happens on the way is the character development and how two men of two different races during racist times can grow camaraderie against with each other. And kind of the ending, it's like, you know, it is a bittersweet ending. Like, you think, yeah, you know what, they went through some shit, and it was good. I mean, it's definitely not the best movie I've ever seen. And I think in that year, I mean, that was the same year, to be honest, that movies that I like much better, The Graduate and Bonnie and Clyde, I think maybe those should have won. But I can see why this would have won, because it's a great movie, greatly made, and story is great, but it is kind of elevated by, you know, higher levels with character and with the themes of racism, how they kind of, you know, just bring it to light, and I don't know. I mean, I can't really, you know, speak for, you know, I'm not a scholar of racism or anything like that, but I think because it doesn't go too over the top, that you kind of, you don't, they don't have to say anything. They don't have to speak for it. There's no big speech at the end where, like, you know what, I'm white and you're black, but hey, we you know, we got along in the end. Isn't that something? Nothing like that. So you kind of draw your own conclusions about that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really, really good movie. Really great performances, and I'm glad I finally got to watch it. Definitely something that I'll watch again. So pretty much this is kind of like a first impressions review. It's not like one of my all-time favorites that I've watched a million times. I've only watched it the one time. It's kind of my impressions of the movie, and I really like it, and I'll watch it again for sure. So that's my review, In the Heat of the Night. Oh, and it has a great theme song by Ray Charles called In the Heat of the Night, which is a great opener and closer to the movie. So thank you for watching.